Republicans are looting the Treasury while they still can. They know a backlash is coming, and they're making the most of their power while they have it. The tax bill Senate Republicans rushed to pass in the dark of night, unread by most senators, was a Hail Mary pass by a party that expects to lose seats in the coming midterms, and knows that its historically unpopular president has a good chance of serving only one term. It was an act of legislative looting by a party that's behind by an average of 8 points in generic congressional ballot polls, doesn't think it will enjoy unified control of government again in the immediate future, and is grabbing whatever benefits it can for its donors while teeing up deep, damaging cuts to the safety net in the future. The conventional wisdom holds that Republicans pursued a maximalist approach to the bill because they faced a donors' revolt if they didn't deliver something big after Obamacare repeal turned into a debacle, and because they're insulated to a degree from the wrath of the voters. This is true. As a result of a combination of gerrymandering and the inefficient distribution of Democratic voters, the GOP might be able to hold on to control of the House despite losing the popular vote by as much as 7 or 8 points. Next year, Republicans will defend only 9 Senate seats, many of them in solidly red states, while their opponents try to hold 25. And conservative donors have threatened to close their wallets if they don't get big cuts. But those factors alone don't explain congressional leaders' apparent contempt for public opinion. Looking at the bigger picture suggests that they're internalized the emerging Democratic majority thesis. They know that the electorate is becoming more diverse, more urban, and better educated. They understand that their core demographic, married whites who identify as Christianized, is in rapid decline. This is what animates their relentless efforts to suppress the vote of typically Democratic constituencies, and it explains their rush to pass a massive rewrite of the tax code that's historically unpopular. As The Atlantic's Ronald Brownstein noted on Twitter, the Senate bill will come down especially hard on the Dems' rising coalition, urban residents, blue states, college and graduate students. It's an enemies list as much as a revenue bill. Republicans understand that their last 2 presidents entered office despite losing the popular vote, as they are now done in 6 of the past 7 presidential contests dating back to 1988. They get that Donald Trump's approval ratings are historically low for this stage in a presidency, and that today's intense partisanship makes it unlikely that he'll ever enjoy anything even approaching majority support. They know that he's going to lead them into a 2020 contest in which the Senate map favors the Democrats. And of course they know that Robert Mueller's investigation is looming over all of this. They know a backlash is coming, and they're making the most of the power they have while they still can. They don't care about public perception if it's an obstacle to enacting long-term cuts to taxes and spending that will be difficult for future Congresses to reverse. It's difficult to overstate how destructive this bill will be over the long term, and impossible to overstate the degree to which their shambles, one-party legislative process was an affront to the most basic norms of democratic governance. In order to finance a portion of the $1.4 trillion in tax cuts they're showering on corporate America over the next 10 years, they eliminate the Affordable Care Act's individual mandate. According to the Congressional Budget Office, this would lead to 4 million Americans losing their coverage next year, and 13 million fewer insured in 2027. As healthy people leave the pool, premiums for everyone else in the ACA's exchanges would spike by 10%. That's only the beginning. As Amy Goldstein reports for The Washington Post, the bill would have potent triple effects throughout the health care system. As a result of an existing pay-as-you-go law, rising deficits will make automatic budget cuts kick in, unless Congress steps in to stop them. That would reduce funding for Medicare by $25 billion per year. And it's not just health care. Margot Sanger-Katz reported for the New York Times that if this bill becomes law, the funding for dozens of federal spending programs could be cut in many cases to nothing beginning next year. Republican senators blithely dismiss this reality, insisting that the bill would unleash sufficient growth to pay for itself. "I'm totally confident this is a revenue-neutral bill," said Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. "I think it's going to be a revenue producer." This is something like confidently stating a belief in the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus.